One of the things I did prior to the summer was rewatch the 2006 WSOP Main Event before it left Poker Go.
How'd I do?
It's the PokerNews Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 981 of the PokerNews Podcast. I am Chad Holloway, joined by Mike Holtz, Ben Ludlow, and special guest returning to Level 9 Studio, Jamie Gold. Welcome back, my friend.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited. I've been seeing some of our friends over the summer. I've only been here maybe 10 days, but it's been an eventful 10 days. And it's always good to see you.
We're excited because we're going to talk all about your main event run in 2006. It's the 20th anniversary of that. We've been doing a lot of stuff with Poker News to remember that. I've been interviewing some folks. We have an episode coming up where I interviewed the last woman standing in the main event, Sable. I interviewed Paul Wasika, the man you beat heads up. So we'll get into all of that. But Ben, Mike, I'll start. 2006, where were you guys when Jamie was busy winning the main event?
2000. Born? Yeah. I was born for sure. I was a senior in high school. I was for sure watched every single second of that. That was like the peak of... Well, I would say it's the peak of poker fandom in general. They were only doing highlights
back then.
They were, yeah.
Well,
every second that they broadcasted.
All the hands.
That's
like
not quite true, because I recall I was in college and I was working at a pool hall, and I remember it because we rented it to put it on a big screen. They actually put the 2006 main event on pay-per-view.
Right.
Did they really?
They did.
Without the whole
cards, yeah.
That's amazing.
So it was like I heard that it was a bird's eye view, that you could kind of see the table a little bit, but you basically couldn't tell what was going on.
So basically
it was the
viewing
first and the
experience of
last
this year.
time
Yeah, it wasn't very
that
good.
they did it that way.
Wow.
It was an experiment that did not work out well, but the broadcast worked out really well. And it was a really exciting time for poker. And for me, it was pretty nice.
You don't say.
Yeah. Well, I only really know Jamie Gold as the king of the Bahamas Paradise Atlantis cash games. I mean, that's really, that man opened and closed the cash games every single day in the Bahamas.
All night for a few weeks, every December. If anyone ever makes it to the Bahamas and you go into the cash game room, 100% you will see me running our one round of bomb pot, one round of PLO, one round of Hold'em, all day and night until they kick me out.
Oh, yeah.
I am always the last one because they close for a few hours as opposed to here, which is 24/7. Which is dangerous.
Yes.
But they do close for a few hours in the Bahamas. They do have to legally.
It's like going out to bars in New York City. You're like, oh, they'll just kick me out eventually. And then all of a sudden it's 4 a.m. You're like, oh shit, I'm still here.
Mike, what about you? 2006, what was life like?
Life was like I was eating a lot of chocolates. I was eating a lot of food. I was 350 pounds playing World of Warcraft, and I wasn't into poker yet, actually. So I didn't watch any of your main event highlights until afterwards, whenever I got, whenever they replayed on ESPN at whatever hours of the day. And then eventually whenever I got to watch it on YouTube, 8 years later or whenever. So, I mean, for me, I didn't get to experience it firsthand, but afterwards watching back, it was fucking sick. You know what I mean? Because I got to watch the main events afterwards, and there wasn't really anyone like you at all in any of them, and it was sick to see. I love talking at the table. I think talking at the table, especially heads up, I think it's ridiculous that if we're heads up, I can't talk to you. I think it's poker where we're having a, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's just a part of the game, and I think kind of sucks that it got removed from tournament poker. You know what I mean?
That rule should change, and now it's become such an odd thing where the only thing people are talking about when you refer to talking at the table are these two guys who seem to think that it's okay to take 10 minutes on every hand, berate the entire table, but nonstop, and then basically make it so that if you get placed at one of their tables, you're at such a huge disadvantage because you're only getting maybe 5 hands every half hour when everybody else is getting 20.
Yeah.
And it just seems like that's what it's become. So people ask me like, oh, you must love these guys. It's not, it's not that I don't like them personally. It's that I just don't like what they're doing, because what I was doing was trying to make the game better, more interesting. If anybody had ever said, hey, this is really getting in my way, I would instantly stop. I have no interest in affecting other people's play. It was to make the game more interesting, have a psychological aspect of it. And almost everyone that I've ever played with has said you made the game so much more fun, because sometimes we're sitting there for 12 to 14 hours and it can get really boring sometimes. And so if you can make the game better, but now it's become something completely different, and I don't even know what to say. I'm not sure what the fix is for that. I know one of them got banned.
Which is good.
And no, but they're back.
He's back.
They're back. Yeah.
I think Mr.
Kassouf
Kassouf's
is back.
I
back.
have not seen
This
him
is
yet.
some bullshit, man.
I
What
think
are we
he usually
doing?
comes for the main, but yeah.
You know what? I just don't get it because, and I don't mean to interrupt, but I just don't understand how, like, he's here, I'm in the Masters, still here. It's like, let's just get rid of these guys. What's happening? They're a net negative for the WSOP.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that we should get rid of them. I just believe that there should be rules in place. If you were going to create whatever we're calling the Jamie Cold rule to stop us from basically, being able to have some banter when we're heads up, which I think is really good for the game, but not have enough rules in place to stop what's going on now. I'm sure that they will at some point, but I'm curious to see what happens now. I don't have anything against these guys personally. I just like the game to be fair. Mm-hmm. And anytime anyone had ever told me, hey, you can't flip over one card for whatever I believe I'm giving information away.
Yeah.
But people said that it was unfair. And so I never did it again.
I hate that. I want my opponent to show me a card on the river every
Absolutely.
time. Don't penalize
and it
him,
makes
please.
it so much better for TV.
Oh, yeah.
Way better.
Well, yeah. Another problem with these guys too is I feel like they come at you at the table, and whether you want to or not, you're forced to engage. And if you don't engage or give something back or fight back, then you're just going to kind of get steamrolled. So you're put in a spot where if I'm at the table and I just want to have my headphones and not engage and kind of just like be a person and play and be in my own world, I should also have that choice as opposed to being forced to kind of like engage with these guys. And if not, then I'm at a disadvantage. Well, it's just tough where if then every time you go to a table, you got to be prepared to get in a verbal fight too, or a verbal battle. That's not fair either. And so it's just tough where, now if I'm forced to go to the table and just like fight back against Martin Kabrhel, it's going to be a bad day for me probably too.
Have you been at the same table as Martin Kabrhel or William Kassouf?
Yes. As recently as last summer, I was at a table. I've played with Will Kassouf many times, and he's actually somewhat entertaining to a point. And then it becomes, and then it always goes negative, and people start getting upset. And I think he thrives on it, and it starts becoming something even worse. And he and I seem to be okay, but he wants me to kind of support what he's doing as if I was kind of the first one to maybe, be. And I said, please don't ever compare you and I.
Yeah.
We are not the same. It's not better or worse. It's just different. And I am not like that. And I don't ever want to be put in the category of someone who destroys the game and destroys everyone else's time and makes it completely unfair for everyone at the table. When I come to a table, unless they're, some of them are faking it, people seem to get very excited and very happy. And I usually create positive action.
Yeah.
And when they show up at a table, everyone is just, so I got a set last year with Martin Kabrhel, and he said that, he enjoyed whatever I had done in the past and that, we should have some fun. And, it was nonstop, but I did try to make it so that he would kind of stay in his lane and that I would keep the action going. So I would say, it's on you, sir. It's not on you right now. So I kind of tried to play a little bit of the sheriff and so because I think some people don't feel like it's their place to say anything.
And I think you have, the gravitas, if you will, to do it. You're a former main event champ. You've been in the game now for 2 decades as a great ambassador. So I feel like you can take control of a table if you want.
Well, I also have a relationship with every one of the floor people.
Right.
And so I can make it pretty clear that if we have to call the clock every single time you are in a hand
We will.
to make it fair for everyone else so that they get to play their hands, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to wait for anyone else to do it. And eventually, I think one of them got a clock, every 10 or 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And not on my table, but it's just unfortunate where I think that part of the game has gone, because I thought we were on a path to maybe bringing back the fun aspect of table talk.
Well, I mean, if we sit at a table with you or Mike or anyone who is kind of like a talker and they bring positive vibes, it's great. And I think anyone who sat with you guys would agree that it's a net positive. So hopefully
In general,
you can just continue to lead by example. It's just unfortunate that the loudest, most disruptive person is always going to get the most press and the most clicks, the most views, all that stuff. So we just need more guys like you to be positive talkers of the table, and hopefully we can overtake.
Yeah, now that it's back on ESPN,
Yeah,
which,
that's
which
helpful too.
I'm so thankful
Yeah.
that
100%.
ESPN is working with Poker Go and the World Series of Poker and Solana, and there's so many great things that maybe we can talk about here about where poker is going. It's you all have done so much for the game, and there's so much that still can be done to grow this game. And the idea that we were basically just focusing on problems last summer is what it felt like. And now we're just focusing on all the positive. So I feel like it's going
Not
in a
always
really,
here.
No.
Well, the dealer should get overtime, and we probably shouldn't hire 800 extra ones. But other than that, great stuff.
Absolutely. I apologize. I'm sure there are
No.
there are things to cover, but from an outside point of view, it does feel like there's a lot of positive momentum
Yeah.
now, and so
Absolutely.
many great things that are happening that we don't need to make it all about people screaming at a table.
Well, I want to shout out the WSOP because they had changed it from no dinner break for the main event for the first 3 days or 4 days, and now
I heard that.
Well, now they listen to complaints. They changed it, which is like WSOP doesn't really change very much stuff, if anything, midsummer. So for them to do that must have taken a lot of stuff with production, ESPN, et cetera. So I applaud WSOP 100%. And not only that,
Absolutely.
yeah, no, that's great stuff. And hopefully this leads to more things. And people were talking about it. They're like, dude, if WSOP's Twitter account just answered people like that cures like 75% of the
Like
issues.
the old
literally.
Kev Math kind of just, we know he's there to answer our questions kind of thing.
And they're
Exactly.
doing that now
Yeah.
with Jeff Platt, and they've hired so many more people, and it seems like they do care and they want to make it the greatest experience possible while also, doing what's best for the company. They have to grow the company. They've invested, a lot of money.
Yeah.
I
And
think a
people
lot-
think it's easy, and it is not.
I think a lot of it's their relationship with Caesars too. Like they can't control exactly what Caesars does in the outside area, and Caesars hires the dealers, et cetera. So
There are union issues.
yeah, lots of stuff.
There are things sometimes that we think would be such simple, easy fixes, and they have no choice.
Right.
Yeah.
They have to handle it a certain way. And
And-
also just try to put on a tournament for 22,000 entries like they had this week.
Crazy.
Good luck
Yeah.
Well, I think
trying to run it smoothly.
If you give me $47 million in profit, I think I can find a way.
Well, we're all looking forward to that, Mike. But no, and I think just, to re-highlight it, I'm glad Mike brought up the fact that they made those changes, because I feel like and we've said this multiple times in the show, when we bring up negative stuff and are frustrated, well, it's because there's nothing that we care about more in the world than the World Series of Poker and it doing well and it being, the best place to play, et cetera. So it's more just like we're frustrated because we care so much sometimes. And so to see them make changes, to see them listen to us, to see, them be able to be a little bit more nimble is such a huge sign. So shout out to Jeff and TJ for taking the brunt of pretty much all of the
Can you
negativity that's come
imagine
out.
what they go through
No,
on
I
a
mean,
daily
oh my
basis?
God.
You guys
I
deal
know
with
what
a
they
lot
go
of it.
through
Yeah,
on a
yeah.
daily
You
basis.
guys deal
for
with
sure.
a lot of it. Just the poker media in general is such a thankless position to be in, because people think that you're being paid, crazy amounts of money,
Yeah.
which rarely happens.
Sure.
And you're doing it because you love the game, and you're doing it and you deserve to be paid. And sometimes I know that there are people who may or may not be paid and they're still doing it. And it's amazing how little credit you all get. You do such a fantastic job, and poker would not be where it is without the poker media. And so it's a symbiotic relationship. It's an ecosystem that everyone needs to work together. I want to help grow the game. I'm just a fan and a player. And I think that we can all do better because people seem to just want to de facto complain and be upset and scream at people. And I don't think they're always focusing on the right things. Mm-hmm. That yes, a dinner break in the main event when you're paying $10,000 to play in the greatest and one and only tournament that has stayed the same, that has basically stayed pure within reason.
You didn't hear about the re-entry this year? No, I'm kidding.
So I agree with you. I was really surprised to see that. I did not know, by the way, that there was none. I would have been surprised on day one.
Yeah, that would be very shocking to me. My God, I would have been like, what?
I'm so glad that got resolved quickly. And it is pretty amazing that things are happening like that, because in other really large billion-dollar corporations, you're probably not going to see things move that quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure, 100%. I think generally, like, there's just been an enshittification of America. Everything is like about making the most profit and giving the least stuff. So it's really nice to see WSOP giving back, hitting us with a little WSOP app, and
they care more than people think that they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I talk to them, and it is genuine that they actually want to make it the greatest experience possible within their boundaries of business. That you have to remember that they are a business.
Yeah.
And so I'm always overly impressed by how much they care and how little people know what they're dealing with sometimes.
Right. Well, I want to shout out Danielle Barilli from WSP Online. She's the vice president there. Like, she runs the stuff.
She's fantastic.
She's amazing. And I talked to her, and she's talking about they're doing a new schedule. They're working on new times so the East Coast people can. Because last night, like they have like an 888 event, the bracelet events. Like, late reg doesn't end until midnight. They're going to change all of that. They're bolstering the schedule. When I logged in yesterday compared to logging in 2 months ago. Like, 2 months ago, the schedule was horrible. The schedule yesterday was amazing. There were 10 tournaments to play. They're working on a ton of stuff. So, and she really, really cares about growing the game. And she, like, legitimately, every time I talk to her, I text her. If something's wrong, she's like, instantly does something. There was like suspected cheating in one of the events. I texted her. She ran over to the floor and talked to them for me. She's just been great. So I just want to shout out Danielle.
2011, the summer I worked for Poker News, she was one of the reporters. It was me, her.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy. Back in the day.
And one of the things I did prior to the summer was rewatch the 2006 WSOP Main Event before it left Poker Go.
How'd I do?
I mean, it was fun to rewatch.
No spoilers.
And but one of the things, and you mentioned your dad, and that was a big part of the storyline. Your dad was suffering from ALS at the time. Your mom was in Vegas. He couldn't make it there. But that was interesting to me because I kind of had forgotten that aspect of it. But that was a huge part of your story and your run.
Yeah, we tried to get him on a hospital plane when I made the final table, and he couldn't do it. He was too far gone at that point. But I do remember after I won, the craziness that was going on, besides the hundreds of thousands of dollars I threw into the crowd and caused a riot and all of that. ESPN and the crowd were so kind to dim the lights. Everyone got quiet, and they let me make a call as the first thing I did before I got up from the table.
Yeah.
They let me make a call. Now, in New York at that time, I think it was 7 a.m.
Yeah. And
he had already fallen asleep. Like he did his best to stay up, but he wasn't in control of his his full facilities. And so when I got to leave him a voicemail, and they recorded it, and sometimes play it on ESPN when you see it. Sometimes they play it without it. Sometimes they play it with it. But the fact that they allowed me to do that, it kind of it let me feel a little bit more connected, and that I could tell him that that I had did it, because I hadn't really done anything for myself. I didn't take a vacation in 12 years. All I was doing was working 24 hours a day right before I retired when I was 35. And then I, spent that year just studying and focusing on poker before I played the main event. And so, I think my dad getting sick and my mom inspiring me to kind of do something for one, selfish for myself so that I would be happy, not just trying to make everybody else's dreams come true. And so the fact that I actually accomplished it before he passed, maybe that was if someone or something is looking out for me, I think that the timing of it all happened so that he could see it before he passed, because he did pass, shortly after.
And that's such an iconic segment. I mean, it's 20 years ago and I haven't fully rewatched it in that time, but I still have a vivid memory of sort of that almost go to credits. And as they go to credits, that voicemail and sort of the lasting piece of calling your dad. And I feel like, that's just an amazing moment. And I we talk about stories and we talk about kind of like these great moments in poker that we haven't, that we've missed in the last 10, 15 years as ESPN has kind of phased it out, or as there's been less of that. And I hope we get to see more real human moments with ESPN coming back, because, they have a unique way to focus on that and kind of find the stories and focus on people. And so
I agree.
That will be one of the most kind of beautiful human moments in poker television history forever.
I agree. And then I got to play the Warriors event.
Oh yeah.
Last week, and I thought I was going to win it, but
I thought you
you almost won the Millie Maker, so
I got really close, and I made a couple of deep runs. I played 3 events so far, but we have the mini main today.
Yeah.
Right after this, I'm going to go hop in that, and then we have the main event coming this weekend.
Yes, we do.
This weekend already? What's today? Today's Monday.
I came out late this year.
Yeah. Okay, sick. I totally know what's happening on the schedule.
You mentioned your mom, and I know afterwards she played a little bit of poker herself. I was digging through the Poker News archives and saw a photo of her playing. Did she enjoy her stint in the poker world, if you will?
She's been playing her whole life. She started teaching me when I was 3 years old. So this is, I came after her. It wasn't the other way around. She taught me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And there's something you and I talked about. It was earlier this year, but a graphic, because people got to remember this was the height of the poker boom. It was all over mainstream media, the news channels, ESPN, Sports Center, et cetera, et cetera. They put a graphic on one of these about you compared to other athletes in their careers, Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan.
I saw this.
How quickly or how fast you got to 10 million compared to how fast or how long it took them to get to 10 million.
12.
Yeah, or 12.
Yeah, 12. Yeah. Come on, Chad.
Tiger Woods, 3.5 years. Jamie Gold, 14 days.
Yeah. I do remember that list, and it was so funny and so cool. And obviously, I don't compare myself to the greatest athletes of all time, but it was a really interesting way to, ESPN, Jamie Horowitz, and everyone who's involved there are so creative and smart about how to integrate poker as a sport, because whether or not you think it's a physical sport, which we know that it is, it's a mental sport. Yeah. And so the fact that they even in jest, the fact that they would do something like that was so cool. And obviously, my friends and family and everyone who's ever seen it thought, that is really cool.
Yeah. I mean, it being on ESPN and it being kind of, broadcast on the same channel where we have national championships and, all this stuff is gotta be one of the most important things that's ever happened for our game.
Dun-na-na,
exactly. I want dun-na-na. Mike Holtz and Jamie Gold at the final table this year.
That'd be really cool, Jamie. You can win again. I'll get second. I'll get fifth.
I'll take 16th. That's fine.
Yeah. Just the 2 weeks that we would have before it to promote it.
Oh man.
And help grow the game.
Yeah.
I'm just so excited, and I know we don't want to get off topic, but the fact that it's going into crypto now, and with Solana and payments, I heard over $10 million worth of payments or have already been made through Solana.
Amazing.
Imagine the entire crypto community coming into poker.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
We're just getting the sports betting community into poker, and now we get the crypto community, and then you'll get the entire video game community, and poker is bigger than it's ever been, but the world doesn't know it.
Yeah,
we just had 22,000 entries in the mystery bounty. People have no idea how much bigger this game grows every year because it was behind a paywall, which we love Poker Go, but the masses wanted it on a a free channel. And so it's back.
It's back.
We got it, baby.
I know one of the other things they harped on in the new segments that I watched was your run in 2006. You were constantly eating blueberries. Tell me the story there, the blueberry story.
I've been eating blueberries my whole life. They are my favorite food. I still eat them every day. They are also a brain food, and they make me feel good, and they taste great. And it was very difficult. Back then, there weren't very many food options the way that we can now. There was no such thing as DoorDash or Uber Eats or we were really limited. And we were at the Rio. Yeah, we were at the Rio. Yeah. And so if, I eat in a very specific, super clean and healthy way. And so if you can imagine, there was no All-American Dave. So you had to kind of figure out your own thing. And so people would say, I had so many friends and family and they were just kind of standing around. A lot of them didn't even understand poker. They were just there for support. And they said, is there anything I could do for you? I said, well, if you could bring me some blueberries. And then it just became a thing that they would bring them like 3 times a day. And so I just started eating them on camera. And then I remember Ali Najad and Phil Gordon started eating them during the broadcast and making sure that they, it was getting in the way of purposely of their, so this is what I guess what we're supposed to do and you know what? It is making me a better human being. And so and then when Norm interviewed me right after the first interview, he said, what is the secret to all of this? And I said, it's got to be the blueberries.
Well said. Well said. That's so good.
So it became a thing. And blueberry sales went up 20%. No kidding.
There you go.
Entire industry.
Big blueberry. Owes a lot to
You
money.
hear that, Driscoll's?
Yeah.
How come I never got sponsored by Driscoll's?
Speaking of food that makes you feel good, Mike, you got some Think Jerky over there. Quick shout out to one of our sponsors here on the show.
I have eaten so much Think Jerky that I think, if you were, there was a king somewhere that they excavated his bones, and his bones were like 17% alcohol. And I think when they excavate me, obviously, they'll find that I am 1.3% Think Jerky.
Yeah.
So what can you do? I enjoy it. It's great. The macronutrients are great, and it's legitimately delicious. I get no money from Think Jerky. Poker News gets all the fucking money. But guess what I get? I get to eat this fucking jerky, baby. And I love it.
I have a dealer eating it at the table yesterday.
Oh, it's so clean. It's so good.
But you can take some if you want when you leave. But before we do let you leave, I do want to ask, one of the things we know about you before the main event run was you were an agent, in Hollywood. And I was watching some clips back, and one of them said that you represented or worked with Felicity Huffman, Lucy Liu, and James Gandolfini at one point. And obviously James Gandolfini, the late great actor from The Sopranos, but that stuck out in my mind.
Yeah, and Jimmy Fallon lived on my couch for 6 months.
What the fuck are you talking about? What? We should have opened with that. What do you mean Jimmy Fallon?
Before he was famous.
No way.
This is in the beginning. I helped him launch his career, and Jimmy Gandolfini lived at my place. I had this beautiful place on the water for 20 years in Malibu. And so if you can imagine, if you're just coming out to LA and you don't know where you're going to stay and what you're going to do, and we're friendly, you may want to stay in my extra room and live on the beach in Malibu while you're looking. And when people are looking, they're not looking so hard when they have that view. And, and we make life really easy for them. So, a week turns into a month, turns into 6 months, or maybe a year. I don't even remember how long it was, but I love them, and they were fantastic. And we had, some really great memories that we created back then. But yes, that's how I started my career for my first 15 years in business. I was an agent, then we started packaging movies and financing movies and TV shows. I still do some of that. I'm only on the finance side. I don't take credit for anybody else's work. I just know when there is a good opportunity to finance a movie or a TV show. I love the business so much, and I'll always kind of have my hands in it when I can advise or help other people that need it.
Yeah. Let's talk about, you mentioned Jimmy Fallon, who hosts the late night shows, right? In 2006, it was very much more mainstream than it is now. Did you get any opportunities to go on any kind of talk shows, TV shows, etc. after your big win?
I did, but I did the ones that that asked me locally. So I did like CNN right after. So I hadn't slept well for about 10 days because, you know, the adrenaline and everything that's going on. And after I won, we had our big party and I, you know, might've had a few drinks and I was let's say 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then I went on CNN.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And I can't believe that if I didn't tell you, you'd say it was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine.
I watched it. I thought it was fine.
I had no idea where I was. And
It's
no
like
idea
OG
what was
and
happening. And it was at
Morning
the end
America.
of the celebration. And if you could imagine, I was also, you know, 20 years younger, and I enjoyed, you know, celebrating a lot more back then. And I don't know how I did it, but the things that I got to throw out I'm the biggest Dodger fan, even though I grew up in New York, biggest Dodger fan in the world since I'm 3 years old. Probably because my parents are from Brooklyn. I don't know.
They'll do it.
But I just love the Dodgers. I got to throw out the first pitch at a playoff game. After I won, because we won back then, it was like August, and then the playoffs came in October, and they invited me to come throw the first pitch.
Dude.
And that was, as you can imagine, growing up as a young child, but the shows that I got, I remember I got invited to Leno, but my dad wasn't doing well. And I was in New York and I just couldn't get on I couldn't see getting on a plane in the same way that, you know, people thought I had a backer, which I never had. And, you know, somebody did sue me and of course, you know, they didn't win, but you know, going through all of that, because the reason the rumor kept going forward, and obviously the World Series of Poker, and everyone who knows me knows that it wasn't true, but I didn't respond.
Yeah.
So I allowed it to become a rumor because I said, I'm not going to go fly out to LA and go do a press conference and do all this when I could have another moment with my father.
Of course, yeah.
What's the point? You know what I mean? It was just, and they said, well, if you don't respond, you must be guilty.
Sure.
So that whole thing just became I missed Jay Leno. I missed so many what you would call like the major opportunities. And so, you know, some people said, well, you know, you should have been a better ambassador for the game. And I feel like, you know what, I've done everything I can do. Sometimes, you know, your father dying is more important than making some appearances on television.
I've never heard anyone say you should be a better ambassador for the game. I think everyone generally knows you're a good ambassador for the game, James.
Especially, I mean,
there are trolls.
Of course. The internet's not a real place. I mean, that's just...
But anyone that spent more than 30 seconds with you in real life knows how good of an ambassador person
you're obviously a very
appreciate
good person. And you care about the
it.
game greatly. And talking to you here, like I can
thank
really
you.
tell that you care so much. And I feel the exact same way.
Thank you. I really do. But, you know, there were some misconceptions, and someday, you know, we'll do a little documentary or something and we can talk about that, and people might try. The funny thing is that everything is documented. Even my lawsuit is all public record. All you have to do is check it and you'll see that it was ridiculous. But people don't want to see all of that. And I even tried to give the guy half my money after taxes and he wouldn't take it. He wanted before taxes, even though he didn't back me.
What an idiot.
He didn't put up any money.
Should have said yes.
He didn't deserve anything, but I just wanted to give it to him. It was a gift. Because he tried. He tried to get celebrities for the Bodog team. And so I told him that I would split whatever I won with him after taxes. But he said he was from the UK and they don't pay taxes on the gambling earnings, but you didn't earn it. I did. And here we do pay taxes on gambling earnings. So I think I sent him like $4 million, which we each got 4 out of, 8 out of 12. And he told me to go screw myself. But he was not my backer. I had Bodog sponsoring me. They bought me in. I never had a backer. Because people still say, oh, you didn't pay your backer. They also think that I cheated somehow. They said, you can't go on a run like that. You mean the highlights that you saw? The few hands I actually hit the nuts. You can't go on a run like that.
I've never heard anyone say you're cheating either.
I'm saying again, the trolls, there's always a few trolls and they're louder than some of the people who are kind on the internet.
And you were probably one of the first to get those trolls because it was the height of the poker boom. And the internet was still...
Beginning of the internet, kind of social media
Facebook wasn't even a thing in 2006. Facebook.
I think
Twitter
it
had just started.
Facebook,
so people were now allowed to hide behind that and say really nasty things. And, I was kind of used to it from representing celebrities. I would teach them how to deal with all the negativity, and that fame is not the greatest part of success necessarily. But in general, the amount of love and kindness, and people who were just coming up to me during the Warriors and saying, thank you. I know you weren't in the service, but what you've done for us. My dad was in the service, and so I will always try to play anything that I can that's related to charity and veterans. And they would just thank me, and it would just make me feel like there are things that we can do, even though I didn't serve. I can try to, in some way or another, give back somehow, some way.
Yeah. Well, you've definitely done a good job. I think you're a great ambassador for the game. It was fun to watch you make a run in that field. 4,478 runners. You finished 17th. I know we were starting to talk at Poker News behind the scenes, like, is Jamie Gold?
It all went to shit at the end.
As it does sometimes.
As it does, yeah.
Well, we are running out of time. I know you got to get over to the World Series of Poker. June is about to wrap up. July is about here. The main event, as you said, is kicking off this week. Very excited to see how you do. I guess if you guys are playing, to see how you do.
I guess if you guys are playing, we'll check it out, I suppose.
Also, one more shout out. 20 years ago, our player of the year, Jeff Madsen, the same year that you won your...
Yes.
He's one of our very close friends, has hosted the show a few times.
I like him a lot.
Yeah, he's the best.
And he just won another bracelet this summer.
How great is that?
He's the guy who said, all right, I got to win as many tournaments as possible.
He is so good.
Yeah.
Well, do us a favor, like, subscribe, give us the 5-star review. We're back 3 times a week during the 2026 World Series of Poker. As I mentioned earlier, we have interviews with Paul Wasika coming up, with Sable, the last woman standing in the main event the year that you went deep, and some more great 2006 20th anniversary content coming up. I'm Chad Holloway, Ben Ludlow, Mike Holtz, and our special guest, 2006 World Series of Poker main event champ, Jamie Gold, will be back on Thursday with a brand new episode. Until then, we'll keep a seat open for you.